No.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. First item is to approve the agenda. Do you have any additions, deletions?
Move on the agenda.
All right.
Move on the agenda, Commissioner.
All right. If you would identify yourself before you talk, or when you make a motion or second or whatever, that'll help me anyway. So we have a motion. Who made the motion? Commissioner McBride?
McBride.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second, wait.
Okay, we have a second from Commissioner Pavlik. All those in favor say aye. Or do we need a roll call, Paul? Paul, do we need a roll
I think
call?
we should be good, but no, I think we're okay as long as. I think we're okay unless there's a negative.
All right. All right. The next item is to approve the minutes from May 21st. Any corrections, additions, deletions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Mayor Droba.
All right. Mayor Droba moves to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Councilor Buller, I'll second.
All right. We have a second from Councilor Boa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item is the Treasurer's Report. Commissioner McBride.
Thank you. Cold weather testing. Presented to the board on the 22nd of June. We had a transfer from cold weather testing to Kita of $17,000. I rectified last month's paid bills. For this month, we have on the inside of the first page, looking for the testing, we have bills of $6,475.70. They all look pretty average bills would normally come in, but is that everything is in? Ira says everything's in for this month for cold weather testing. So that's $6,475.70. With that, I would move to pay the bills for cold weather testing.
All right. We have a motion by the Treasurer. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mayor Droba.
Thank you. Any discussion?
One question,
Mr.
McBride.
Yes.
One question. For Kyra, the Airport Commission monthly test building lease, refresh my memory on that, Paul.
We leased that from the Airport Commission, the test building, the property. Or the building itself.
Is that part of the discussion that later with our leases at all? Is this separate to that?
That's separate.
Separate? Okay. All right. I'm good.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Very good. Continue, Mr. Treasurer.
Okay. KEDA presented to the board today, June 22nd. Transfer of $12,783.64 to JLR. Inside the first page, it bills of $20,800.56. Well, other than salaries that paid to Koochiching County, there's very little expenses for KEDA this month. And I've asked Kyra if that's all bills are in.
We haven't received a bill from Worley in a few months. I did tell them, sending us invoices for those months, but I did not hear back. So that's the deal.
Okay. So with that, I would move forward to pay $20,800.56 for the as of June 18th.
All right. treasurer's moved the bill authorization. Do we have a second?
Second, Pamela.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
Discussion, this is Nevin and Mr. Chair. Just, I would note on the budget versus actual, on the second page, we're actually under budget for through May. So, and again, as Brian pointed out, and as we discussed with things being very tight, that we are really keeping an eye on expenses, and as we work through some of this cash flow and some of the loss of business from the cold weather side. So I just point that out.
Very good. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Right. We acknowledge the treasurer's report. Next item is the Kita Airport lease agreement.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to turn that over to Kyra. If you just want to share that.
So the Kita Airport lease is the agreement for the office space in the terminal here for the Kita. We worked out the square footage and cost-wise. We came up with an amount, a rent lease amount for $265 per month. Yeah, for that one.
Are we doing those, that's an annual, or do we do...
That is a monthly payment.
Do we review it annually, or is it...
It is an annual contract.
Okay.
Wait a minute. The lease term is through December 31st of 2020. So,
Okay.
So 2022.
yes.
Move on to lease agreement.
All right. We have a motion from McBride. Do we have a second?
Second, Pamela.
All right. We have a second. Further discussion? Question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Very good. The next item is the Kita Airport Administration Agreement. Mr. Nevinen or Kyra?
That one is just the 2020 lease agreement for January 20th or January 1st, 2020, December 31st, 2020. And that is at a compensation rate of $34.51 per hour.
Okay. Any questions? All those in favor of the Kita Airport Administration Agreement, just explained by Kyra. Do we have a
I
motion?
think we need motion by McBride.
All right. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
It's Monday morning.
Very good. The next item is the SBDC update, COVID-19 assistance. Joanne?
Yeah, so the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program opened back up, so businesses are able to apply if they didn't get a chance to apply the last time. So that's even with that advance. And then DEED is coming out with a small business relief grant program, and the applications for that open up June 23rd. So I've been kind of notifying people, getting them ready to look at those applications and try to get those turned in. For childcare at the Koochiching site, Ashley has her final visit with the licensor on the 25th, and hopefully then she will be able to open up after that. Little Fork construction should be complete this week, so then we'll have to do the fire marshal inspection, and then she'll have her final visit with the county licensor, and then she can open up as well. And we can start, once we get the room ready, that second room ready, we'll start marketing that for another provider to be there as well. So Carrie Clay Bundy, who's the administrator there, has helped me do a lot of stuff and is continuing to help. But she is going to be moving to Good Sam July 1st. So just trying to make sure that whoever replaces her at Little Fork kind of understands, you know, what's going on. And I know that Jeff, the oversight guy that does all the St. Francis stuff, he is coming on Thursday, so he'll be able to look at it, and she'll be able to catch him up on what's going on as well. So, and then we should have a rent contract signed at that time too for that space. So that's all that I have right.
Questions for Joanne McBride? Joanne, that we don't need a inspection by the fire marshal for Koochiching, correct?
We did that already.
That was done?
Yep.
So who is the fire marshal for Little Fork Fire District?
Same.
They use Adam?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
Oh, just seeing at Little Fork, thank you, Mr. Chair, that Little Fork nursing home just seems to be an administrator training ground or something for the amount of administrators that we go through there. It seems like they get their, I mean, Carrie's done a great job. She's really done a good job, and at least she's staying in the county anyway.
Mr. Chair, I just want to commend Joanne for the work she's done at both of those sites, and it's taken a while to get there, but it's going to be a nice addition and good spaces for future daycare. So,
also, thank Joanne for what she's done. Anytime we're dealing with state governments and stuff like that, there's a lot of hoops to jump through and people to convince and schedules to align and all that. So it's been a lot of work for you and for the people that have applied for licenses. So thank them for their patience and hope they have a successful business.
I agree, and it's very important for economic development to have childcare available. It's a direct connection. So, thank you, Joanne. Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Next item is Director's Report. Director Nevenin.
thanks, Mr. Chair, and I thank Representative Eklund for being with us today. I know it's been a busy last week and continues to unfold here. And as reflected in the director's report, due to COVID and the effect it's having within the region, I mean, you look at some of the closures, it has been fairly quiet, but there is activity obviously going on. But some businesses obviously affected more than others. But the impacts of this pandemic will go well into the future and affect how we conduct business. But I did want to touch on a few things I've been working on and continue to work with Joe Mershon of Granite Digital. You recall he made a presentation and met with the county. The county he was asking for an extension, an amendment to his current developers agreement with the county and the Army Reserve Center, and due to the fact that he was in default, they're asking him to consider a new developers agreement with additional requirements. So Granite Digital will submit a new agreement to the county, and also the big step the big news from Joe was that yes, he's been at this a long time and things take longer. They always do. especially something of this complexity and the scale of the investment. But I think the real key was to have this Newport Energy Holdings as their financial consultants. That was really the weakness in their plan, and they've since revised their plan. And actually, from initial conversations on just funding the Army Reserve site, they feel that there's more capacity here. And so they are looking at other locations to add additional data halls in the future. So it's really key to have those guys on board, being able to go out and raise funds for the project. So look for Joe to get back with the county and revise the developers agreement. Cold box loan repayment, as we discussed last month's meeting, we did have some loss of revenue due to COVID for the testing season, and it subsequently affected our budget and our ability to repay city and county at this time under the current terms. So I did send letters to both bodies asking for some flexibility in getting those loans repaid, and I did go before the county earlier this month. They agreed to defer the payment until we have a better sense on our budget going forward, and I will attend the city council meeting on July 6th, I believe. That's next month, and do the same. So I appreciate the patience, both the city and the county, and again, the impacts that were not, foreseen, and of course, we are dependent so much on the testing revenue to fund this operation.
Well, question: I realize that KEDA and COA, the testing, are essentially governmental units, but would we be available for any reimbursement for loss of business because of the COVID?
We were looking at that, and because we're a governmental entity, we didn't meet the eligibility of the programs we looked at. Now, we're going to continue to look, and even the CARES Act, there might be something there that we'll discuss here in a second. But in fact, we can move on to the CARES Act, and I know maybe Representative Eklund, you can touch on that if you'd like.
I was just jotting down some notes to talk, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for later on. So the CARES Act funding, it's my understanding the governor's going to release it. I didn't see an announcement this weekend that he said that. That was one of the battles that we had last week out in the legislature. And there will be a broad way that money will be allocated. The counties, I believe, are about $121 per capita. The cities are about 71. Townships, I think, are 25 or 23 or something like that. So when the CARES Act money is released, there'll be a pretty good infusion of cash into our communities or into our government entities. But they also have to have a plan in place for what the requesting for what it's done. The way the federal legislation is written kind of loosely, but it's written saying that it has to be for coronavirus. It's not supposed to be a revenue replacement or anything like that.
Also, time on it.
There's a time limit on it as well, and so I'm hoping that our counties and cities are working on their plans for when this money is released. If it isn't released now, I'm sure it will be soon, because the speaker called me on the way home, said, because that was one of the summit points, she said, "You want this money released?" I said, "Absolutely. My cities and counties need it." I don't know. Obviously, some areas, you take a look at Worthington, they probably definitely need it. The last I saw, they had 700 new cases or something. They're crazy, and just in the last few days. And so some of those places are really, they had to spend a lot of money. I know one of my colleagues, Jean Poppy, is going back to Austin, and that's another area that's bad. She said that she's been spending a week in St. Paul. She's going to go get the free test that one of the armories or whatever, just so she knows. So some areas have spent more, and that was part of the contention, is whether there should be money kept back for hotspots or if it all should be released unilaterally across the state. And the sentiment is unilaterally. There's going to be another federal package coming anyway of some sort. So that was a stumbling block. The stumbling block in getting it passed last week when we were down there is we did some to the bill that the Senate didn't like, and we added some money to for veterans homelessness and suicide prevention, about $4.2 million. We did some adjustments for pay to personal care attendants. We did some, we got those up to $15 an hour, I think, in the legislation. And you know, there are frontline people, nursing homes. They're the ones that are well, you know, that's true when your life works out. They're the ones that are doing the moving and the lifting and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, they're right there in contact. And some other, I can't remember everything else without having the bill in front of me. And that was a stumbling point. But we really took it down, I think, with the police reform legislation House passed. The Senate just had a lot of heartburn with it. And then did it go too far? Maybe. Do things need to be done to change? I had a long talk with our sheriff that afternoon before we voted on the bill, and the sheriff said the Sheriff's Association, for the most part, was in line with some of the recommendations. And what happened to Mr. Floyd obviously was terrible. And probably kudos to the 15-year-old that filmed it to show us going on. You know, I wondered about that when the first film came on. I said, why didn't this person do something? Well, what's a 15-year-old kid going to do with 4 cops? You know, that's not the change. But anyway, I started rambling now. So, but the CARES Act, I think, we'll get back to that. The CARES Act funding, I think, will be coming soon if it isn't already released.
And Joanne and I talked with Jenny, and a portion of those funds coming are directed at business and economic relief. So you have to have a plan. Jenny shared with us some of the other counties and that have put these together. There's an application process. So Joanne's already developed an application based on some of the content, and we still have some details to work through, but we're trying to get in position because, as Commissioner Pavlik said, there's a timeline on it.
I think it has to be on the 24th, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty quickly. So we're working toward that end, and yeah. And just a couple other items. Joanne and I had a chance to visit Birchdale. We met with an entrepreneur. We also met with Soren and Mike as part of that, Commissioner Hansen at that meeting. But this is a young woman that started a business in her home, and it's growing to the point that she needs additional space. She's hired a couple of people, but it's just not efficient the way that, you know, they're based out of their homes. So she's looking to develop a plan to grow this business and possibly build specific building for housing this. So we'll continue to work with her. Joanne's helping her with the business plan, and as part of that, look for some additional resources to help her grow. And those are the kinds of things you really, I think, really appreciate. Is when it's homegrown. She started out very simply, and it's kind of like the Swanky Sweet Pea story, you know, and literally in the kitchen, and then grows it and hires people, and anything out in the Birchdale area would be, you know, it's good news. One other item just to touch on, because as we talk about COVID and also the George Floyd situation and the ramifications or the violence that came out of that, I don't know, I can't remember the specific amount of businesses that were damaged in that Lake Street, or between the two cities, but it was significant. And there was a story in the Star Trib about one business that had been there for 33 years, and he's not going to rebuild in the city. Just uncertainty and just so he, you know, said publicly, I'm not going to rebuild my business in the Twin Cities. You know, so I contacted the company and just said, you know, if you're looking at a rural area, Kooch has a lot to offer, and would like the opportunity to discuss how you can be successful here, and whether that translates to anything. But it just goes to show you that that things change quickly, and to be ready to respond to those kinds of. And I think there'll be more businesses that make that decision. And you know, it still will come down to looking at rural areas. It'll be workforce. Do we have the workforce to support some of these different businesses, especially if they have skilled needs? But that's part of it too. Is just letting people know that Kooch County is a good place to live, to raise a family, and to Any questions?
corrections? Any questions for Director Nevena? Comments? All right, we'll move on to the city, county, and out-county updates. We'll start with Mayor Droba.
Thank you, everybody. As you guys know, we do have a lot of summer projects coming on, and with that is our 1% sales tax. We're able to do over 80 city blocks this summer, along with the start of the Highway 53 project, which will be starting here in about 3 weeks, just after 4th of July weekend. We have had conversations now with the Labor Assembly and with Rotary. It is our goal to have our 4th of July celebration on Labor Day weekend. There's some work moving forward on that. And I guess that's pretty much what we have going on right now. We have a lot of infrastructure projects that we're working on. And for Kita specifically, through this COVID-19, I've been doing a lot of foot traffic with our Main Street businesses and our Highway 53 businesses, just popping in, seeing how they're doing, seeing what we can do to help. And they are hurting, but they are eagerly anticipating our economy fully opening up. With that being said, things are good. Things are better now than they were 3 weeks ago, and they're better. They're going to get better slowly but surely. But I think that for our board members, it's very important for us to pop in and have those discussions with managers and the owners of our businesses. I know that it's helped me get a lot more insight of how we can, as governmental units, help some of these businesses with what they're doing without necessarily going too terribly far outside of what our role as city government is. It's just having those conversations, and I think it's been really good. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mayor. Any questions? Any comments for the mayor? All right. County Commissioner McBride or Commissioner Pavlik?
The only thing I have is I text Thor Einerson about those 3 big jets sitting out here, and they're Gulfstreams. He didn't say who they belong to, but he said his business is only down 98.9% now. And of course, we all know what has happened. Well, like Canada will not open until July 21st. Maybe. Yeah. So our summer traffic to Canada coming through the border country here, I think, is pretty much done for the season. Doesn't look very good. Just a real good compliment is my wife walks every day, and she walks by the airport here out to 332 and back. And she marvels at the amount of construction going on out here. And Yulin Brothers, how great they are. She said they're the most gracious people. They're professional. They look for people. They don't speed. They keep the dust down. She's just really impressed with them. So I think we have the airport commission meeting. We need to make sure that we give Yulin kudos for a fine job. So other than that, I don't know if Wade's got anything or not.
No.
All right. Any questions for Commissioner McBride? Out County, do we have Mike's not here? Any comments? Any further comments about updates?
I got a couple things, Mr. Chair, if that'd be okay.
Yes, certainly. Representative Eklund? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Joanne recommended the grants that are available. As you say, that June 23rd is a new deed program. That's the bill that we did pass when we were in special session the first day, and that created, I think, about $60 million, $30 million for Greater Minnesota and $30 million for the 7-county metro. And if I remember right, it's up to $10,000 grants that are available on this program. So I'm certainly hoping some of the businesses that need it will be able to apply, and may not hurt for even Peter to take a look into this. I don't know if it'll work or not. the 21st Century Fund repayment. And the 21st Century Fund, I don't know, Paul, if this area has ever used that, but it's an entrepreneur fund for Northeast Minnesota. It was created back in the late 90s by Senator Doug Johnson. A lot of times it works in partnership with the IRRB, but I don't know that if it's exclusive to that. I don't know if that's an exclusive partnership or not. So that might be something to look into at some point in time if we have businesses that are looking for something. For the business on Birchdale, do they have broadband?
Yes.
They do. Okay. Because this is going to be the key, and this ties into my next comment is folks relocating. I think your ticket home after this COVID thing is done, or we have a better handle on it, might be key. Because if you take a look, we got all these law firms and insurance companies and stuff that have high-end retail properties in the downtown Twin Cities, and all their people are working from home. Those places are going to sit there, so we're going to need that kind of stuff. And they can work. We're finding out they can work from anywhere. So I think if we got aggressive again on the year ticket home, we could really sell this area. Not even for businesses, just people relocating. We do have an advantage. Our disadvantage probably is a lot of our old housing stock. But if these people move up, they may be. If people are willing to move, they may be willing to remodel too at the same time. So I think it could be a real boom for northern Minnesota, and there's a lot of people that are talking about that. I mean, it's not just here; it's the whole corridor from Hinkley North. So, and then I'll just finish up. We are going to go back into special session at some point in time. There's a lot of talk about the governor's executive authority of our emergency powers and how we need to get rid of those. When people make that statement, then we need to know who's going to manage the state, because we can't even pass a bill to the legislature. So if you put us down there to be full-time to try to do this, I don't necessarily like that it's in the executive branch, but right now there's decisions that have to be made quickly. And if all of a sudden it comes to the legislature, we got to make quick decisions. How's that work for you over the years, Commissioner Fallon? That's very well. So I mean, and all 50 of the states have some sort of emergency powers that the governors have right now, as well as the president. So I mean, I think people need to watch that as a talking point and stuff like that. We'll see. The governor, it appears like the governor's going to release a lot of the restrictions July 1, and it's pretty much going to be wide open. It looks like from there on out.
So just to touch on what Representative Eklund said about, and we've learned even at the county, is moving forward, the way we do business is changing. Well, I mean, we found now, and we're going to sit down with our people when this kind of straightens out with our department heads and say, what have we learned? How will we work smarter? Get people work from home and still be efficient. And air traffic is going to affect this airport because people are not going to businesses are not going to fly like they used to. They don't have to anymore. They can use just like what we have here, conference rooms, and meet from all over the world. So it's going to be a big change, and I think it's going to be some advantage for Cooch County for people who would like to come back. Yeah. I agree with that.
That's a good point, and Rob, you touched on broadband too. That continues to be ongoing. I noted over the last week that Northeast Service was running fiber to our new RV park, and that took a while. We're seeing more and more of those gaps, and especially if it's business related. I think they were able to get a KCDA grant to help the cost of, because fiber is expensive. But we look at that Rainy Lake East area as one of the final areas that has some gaps, and then parts of the out west. There's still some areas that are underserved.
Just one question, and I don't know, Walt, or Representative, that Verizon put the tower up on the west end of town. Is that thing powered up? Because there is no service. It has not increased service anywhere.
I do not believe it is, because I wouldn't work it. I got one bar at my house, so I'm pretty sure that's not up.
You make the corner at Menards and you see the tower and you look at your phone, you got one or a half a bar. So Let's not be powered up yet.
That's one of the things that KTI group is doing, is trying to inventory all the towers in the county. You know, sometimes it's difficult to assess ownership, but at least to say we have this many cell towers, and are they active? That's the other thing, because they go to the expense of putting the tower up and putting the equipment on there, and I don't know if there's testing that has to be done, or because it's been up for a while.
But if you try to call Verizon and get anything out of them, let me know how you do that.
Yeah. So, and then one last thing on broadband. This is kind of something that I need to talk to the PTI group about, or maybe you can, Paul, after I mention this. We did a real interesting project down in Ely. First off, this area couldn't get a provider to try to do a broadband grant. It's too expensive. All rock. It's just like here. And there's a lot of, similar to what we have on Rainy Lake, there's a lot of high-end properties on Burnside and Shagwell Lake in the Ely area. And so this group in Ely is called Treehouse Communications, got a permit from the city of Ely, and they've got a transmitter on the top of the water tower. And they are doing line-of-sight transmission to bring a broadband to 358 homes on Burnside and Shagwell, Morse Township, with 200-foot towers that'll relay off that transmitter on the top of the Ely water tower. And it's going to be at a cost of about $500,000 total. Treehouse, I don't have the numbers in front of me. Treehouse put in about $250,000. The IRRB put in about $150,000. It's in the Tackling Assistance area, and we have a broadband grant program in the IRRB. And then the city of Morse put in whatever the township of Morse put in, whatever the balance was, about $500,000. That's a cheap project, and it's going to be 100. I don't know the gigs up and down, but it's going to meet state regulations, and so it'll be interesting to see if we can show that works, especially in a climate like Ely. Or we can make that work in some of our farm communities, and you take a look. You go to Bursthill, they have the silos and stuff like that. Maybe that's something that we can make work out in our rural areas too for a cheaper cost. Because it's tough to get these providers to come in and put the fiber down, the fiber to the house. You probably don't have it at your place, do you? So not that anything works. No. So anyway, I just want to bring that up. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. If we can show this works, then we can maybe modify that broadband grant program to do these things.
Yeah. Well, that's great. What was it? Treehouse
Communications.
Okay.
Any other comments or updates? Oh, okay.
Oh, Commissioner Pratt was weighing in.
But anyway, over the years, when they come in and apply for the towers, you were part of that, and we would approve them. What we didn't do is put a time limit on them being operational. We've got towers set out there for years. They did it on speculation and kind of frustrating, especially up the lake. And you mentioned the lake. I can't tell you how many times during the year I get comments from people who don't like to do that here that with their stuff that they have to do higher band communication, they can't stay up here. Well, I find that Ely example pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that.
So are people maybe waiting to see what Elon Musk does with the Starlink deal? Is that going to end up in the competition with?
No, I don't think so. I think that the satellite thing is what Commissioner Bryant's talking about for Elon Musk. I think it's going to enhance it, to tell you the truth. I really do. And maybe some point in time we won't need towers and all that other stuff. But the biggest trouble, Representative Pat Garofalo is a big proponent of satellite internet. I told him, I said, you don't know how many Minnesota Wild games I've missed because my satellite dish isn't working in the snowstorm. And he laughed. He said he gets it because he's a sports nut too. So they've got some technological issues to deal with the satellite stuff. And then there's some companies that don't allow their employees to do secure company work by satellite internet because you can't satellite provider can show that they can provide internet to the state standards, the state speeds, they can apply for these broadband grants to service an area. So they're not left out right now, but there's just a couple of concerns that need to be addressed.
Any other comments, updates? All right. Thank you very much. That was an interesting conversation. Thanks for the update, Representative Eklund. Public comments. Do we have any people from the public that would like to comment? Questions? All right. We'll move on to next meeting date. We met this is an unusual meeting date, I think. On a Monday. Do we have any suggestions?
Well, this Commissioner, I think last month, what Alan was, we talked about the Wade and I have issues on the third and fourth Wednesdays. We end up with 2-3 meetings those days, so that's why we kind of asked to go to a Monday. But I mean, we're still open for a discussion.
Sure. How about the Monday? Well, it would be I have the 27th already down. Is that 27th at 8 o'clock?
Okay. Yeah, I think everybody shook their head here.
Could we do it?
I know.
Can we do it at 9? No, that kind of broke up. Can we do it at 9? The 27th or
7th of July.
Yeah, 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yep. All right. It's next meeting will be July 27th, 9 a.m. And I'll be. I looked at the way to do it with the video. Does Kyra or do you have anyone on the video right now?
No.
Okay. Because my email comes to my tablet that I have, or an iPad, and it does not have audio. So, well, it does have audio. I'm sorry, but if you could send that information to me on I have a computer with another address, but I'll get back in touch with you to do that. But you then have to have computers or screens or whatever in the conference room. Or are you?
Yeah, we do.
I assume. Okay. All right. Very good. I'll work on that, even though I'm
fancy new technology, yeah.
I know, but I'm a techno idiot, and so. But I've done it now with the medical board and ARDC, so gradually getting better at it, I suppose. So anyhow, but I'll be in contact with you. Any other business? Any other business? Thank you all for attending, especially Representative Rob Eklund. Nice to have you here. And thanks for your comments. And there's no further business. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.